Yeah, I often get asked what it was like supporting Chelsea years ago. Well, Stamford Bridge for a start off was totally different. When I first started going, the north stand was all open apart from great big like sheddy box type thing on a stand over in the right hand corner as you look from the shed. The west stand was there originally, and then they were doing work on it, and so for a lot of the time, that was just benches, and a lot of it was outside. It was dirt cheap. You could pay your 60p to get um, into the shed end, and I think it was another 30p to go round and sit on the benches. So it was a big game. You know, you wanted to be there and singing in the shed, but it was just as noisy over in the benches in them days. So sometimes you used to pay your 30p and sit down instead of being crushed against the barriers. And then in the shed end, when you used to go and use the loo, you used to have to go down and they were sort of they were outside the toilets and they were on like a ramp. And when the toilets malfunctioned, the pee just used to run down the road into to Fulham Broadway. And I'm going back to sort of even as far as the late '70s. It was it was a nightmare. Really, my first ever game, I sat in the old West Stand. We played West Bromwich Albion. I'll never forget it. But anyway, the reason I'm doing this um, video, obviously I've seen it all from prior to Ken Bates when the Mears owned it, and then Bates saved the Bridge Fund. They used to send me pocket money to sponsor them every time they scored a goal. It was desperate at one time at Chelsea. I've seen the electric fences come up and go down. But yeah, people have asked me my best ever team. And to be honest, it's pretty well dominated by the Roman Abramovich era because obviously we paid decent money for decent players. So I'll start off anyway, my all time Chelsea team. I'll give a mention to a few of the other players, but my best team. Best goalkeeper, Peter Cech. Consistent. I think the first 3 or 4 years he was at Chelsea, well, probably not the first year, but after that he was excellent. So reliable, it was unbelievable. Obviously, he made the odd mistake. He was human, and you could also tell he really had a passion for the club. That's why it's nice to see him back as a sporting director or whatever his official title is. But Peter Cech, I've seen him make some great saves, and obviously in the European Cup final, he come to the fore. Not so much with the headed down goal for Bayern Munich. I thought he maybe should have had that, but we'll give him that pass. So overall, Peter Cech. Who would I put as my second? I mean, reserve goalkeeper. It would have to be Peter Bonetti. He was the goalkeeper that was in goal when I first started watching them. Didn't have the old big gloves then. They just had these cotton gloves. But in the wet, he used to come out. And I don't think he was the biggest keepers actually, but he used to rise forever like Ronaldo did and just sort of come for everything. You know, some of the keepers nowadays who who don't make stuff their own in the 6 yard box. He used to come and make it. He's only he's only a slight bloke. Well, he looked it from where I was, but he used to come and make everything his own. And some of the reflex saves were unbelievable. And it was a time where he used to be under the cosh as well for some of the time, and where forward would just hit you, but he just got up again and got on with it. So yeah, Peter Bonetti. So Peter Cech would be my goalkeeper, with the reserve being Peter Bonetti. Is that we've had other good goalkeepers. Obviously, one that stands out is Courtois the Snake. But when I look back at some of the goals he let in, I mean his legs are open more than a prostitute, aren't they? They're just if you're through on goal with him to go for the legs. Yeah, and his attitude. I never really thought he thought of himself as a Chelsea player, so that's why I've left Courtois out. The only other goalkeeper that came into consideration for me, I'm sure there's people that disagree, was Eddie Niedzwiecki. He was, he was a top goalkeeper. After Benetti, we had John Phillips, a few others. I think it was Dimitri Kari. The worst goalkeeper I've seen for us was Steve Sherwood. Weren't great. We got him from Watford, I think, or he went to Watford. But Peter Barotta, oh my dear, there's one goal. YouTube it. If it's on there, he was on the halfway line. I think it was against Watford. He was on the halfway line when they scored. He was mad. He was mad. He used to come out. I think he was a wannabe centre forward because he just didn't come out and just, hang around the edge of the 18-yard box. He used to come over the halfway line. I'm not on about in the last 5 minutes for a corner. That was a cert. He didn't have to be told to do that. He'd do that anyway. 70 minutes, Peter Barotta would probably be up there in the area trying to score from a corner when it was 0-0. So Peter Barotta, you just did not know what was going to happen next. He made some great saves, but some of the mistakes he made, I was really pleased when he left the club. Yeah, so that's the goalkeepers. Look for the next video when I'll be doing the defence. Okay, see you soon.